Hello people of YouTube, here we are again in DCS world. This time I'm sitting in the UH1 Huey module by Belsimtech. It's been out for a few months now and just recently left beta status, so I thought I would take a look at this one, and it's also the first helicopter I'm taking a look at. Now we're fast forwarding in time a little bit again after the Focke-Wulf 190 and the F-86 Sabre. We're now in 1959, which was the introduction of this particular aircraft. It was the first turboshaft powered helicopter to be used by the US Army. Their previous aircraft had all been piston engine powered, so this was supposed to be a little bit more reliable, have a little bit more power, and it's pretty famous for its service in Vietnam. Anyone having watched Vietnam War films will have seen the Huey. And it's got a two-blade rotor. In this particular version, this is a slightly later version, it has a composite blade, whereas the earlier ones were metal. And this is the first aircraft that I've flown in these videos to actually have somewhat modern radios. So we now have some radio navigation and other kind of modern equipment that you might find in military aircraft of today. So today we're going to do a startup and actually a short cross-country flight and then a landing and a shutdown. We're going to start at Kobuleti, which is where we are right now, and we're going to fly kind of southwest along the coast to Batumi and land there. And I'm going to demonstrate the use of the ADF, or the radio compass functionality in this helicopter in order to navigate. So, without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to start by getting the ground crew to connect the ground electric power.
Chief, turn on the ground power.
This will power up our instruments and whatnot and allow us to get set up without running the engine straight away. And there straight away we get the low rotor RPM sound. Let's turn that off for now. That'll click back on automatically once the engine is running at normal RPM. And let's get our radios powered up and tuned. ATC here is on 133 megahertz. There, that's that tuned. And also I'm going to tune our ADF now, so that we're ready to navigate. Okay, that should be us tuned for the Batumi ADF. I'm very bad at recognising these Morse codes, but I'm pretty sure that's the right one. So I'm just going to switch this to the ADF position now, and oh, actually our radio compass doesn't work until the inverter's on, so that's fine. This radio compass here in front of me will, once we're fully powered up, point sort of southwest, which is where I'm going to go, and it will help us more accurately navigate. Okay, we're going to proceed with the startup. Force trim on, hydraulic controls on, governor on. AC is going to be set for AC phase. Oops. VM, we're going to monitor the essential bus. Switches and starter. Main generator is on. Battery to on. And we're going to turn on our anti-collision lights just so that ground crew know to take a step back. It will now turn on the fuel pump, and I'm going to advance the throttle. Now this, the Collective has a twist throttle, sort of similar to a motorcycle's throttle, and it has a kind of click position so that you don't accidentally pop it into the cutoff position while you're in flight, and this button here controls that. So what we're going to do is we're going to advance the throttle beyond the cutoff position and then back down to the idle position, and you'll notice that I actually now, you're looking at my control indicator here, I now cannot get it down to the cutoff position. It won't let me. I would have to push this button in, and then rotate it down. It sort of pops out. So throttle is now set, so we're now going to action the starter. So for the starter, we just hold down the home key, and we're going to watch the gas producer percentage, the gas kind of turbine percentage RPM here. We're going to hold the starter until it hits 40%. Okay, I'm going to do that now. And release. I should really have closed the door before start, I'll just do that now. Okay, so that's it, it's now spinning up, and what we're supposed to do is gently increase throttle position until we get to maximum, because with the governor turned on, it will automatically govern engine RPM anyway. Okay, that's the throttle at maximum now. The RPM limit light should go out, and the low RPM audio switch should flick back up automatically, which it has done. Turning on the IFF, and I'm going to turn on the inverter, and then we're going to switch the standby generator off of start mode back to its normal mode. I'm going to put on steady navigation lights, and I'm going to turn on my pitot heater. Oh, and I'm going to reset my master caution. Okay, so we've still got DC, generator, and external power is still connected, so we need to tell the ground crew to turn that off.
Chief, turn off the ground power.
It seems like I'm doing this wrong, let's try again.
Chief, turn off the ground power.
I didn't have my intercom switch in the right position, I think. There we go, that's it. He's going to disconnect us now.
Ground power is now off.
There we go, and now we've got no warnings on the master caution. Oh, and I'm going to turn my volume down on that ADF, because that Morse code will start to annoy us after a while. And we should now observe that my pointer is pointing completely the wrong direction. Aha. There. Okay, I obviously had the wrong station tuned. It's kind of difficult sometimes to tell on these. I'm supposed to be tuning 430 on this display. But there we go, I've got the right one now. We'd see the needles pointing in the correct direction. So, we're now ready to proceed. I'm going to just ask air traffic control for permission to take off. Oh, but first I need to switch my intercom switch into position 3, which then connects it to the VHF AM radio. That's more like it.
Kobuleti, in field 1-1. Request taxi to runway. Field 1-1. Kobuleti, clear to taxi to runway 7.
Just going to extend my landing light as well. And away we go. Okay, I'm going to increase my collective slightly. I'm going to hold my collective, cyclic, sorry, down and left very slightly, and put in a little bit of left torque pedal as I increase. That should allow me to hover quite nicely. Oh. And I'm just going to taxi along the taxiway here, so that we can join the runway. So this is called a hover taxi, and I do it fairly badly, so I wouldn't use this as an example. Just want to try and keep your speed under control when you're doing this, because you never know when you might need to stop if there is another aircraft sort of pulling in front of you. So, just a quick note, the whole time I'm doing this video you'll be able to see my control inputs in the top left. I think for helicopter modules that's quite a good thing to have on, so you can see exactly what it is I'm doing with the controls. Ready to slow it down as we approach this junction. Always look both ways before crossing the taxiway. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set her down at the checkers here at the start of the runway. Okay, and request permission to take off.
Kobuleti, in field 1-1, request takeoff. Field 1-1, Kobuleti, you are clear for takeoff tonight. Climb 300 at QFE,
2986. So, yeah, pretty much what I already had said. Okay, let's go. So again, I'm going to enter a hover and start running along the runway to gain forward momentum and start my climb. And we're off. Okay, so I'm going to continue this. I'm going to continue runway heading in a gentle climb. And then I'm going to follow the coast to the southwest. Now that we're leaving Kobuleti, I will tune the Batumi ATC frequency, which is 131. There, so we're tuned ready for arrival when we get there. I'm going to continue my climb to 3,000 feet. You'll notice there's a fair amount of wobble while I'm flying this chappie. Yeah, this aircraft does not have any of the modern autopilot or stability augmentation features of a modern helicopter, so it's completely manual. So you just need to let it sort of swing about a little as it wants to. Oh, picking up a bit too much forward speed. I'm going to lift the nose a little. landing light. Just trimming it off there for a bit of forward flight, for the kind of normal position of forward flight, I mean. That's the one thing you do get in this aircraft is trim. It's standard helicopter push button style, which I've got mapped to my cyclic. Okay, we're going to start our left turn now, so I'm going to roll it a little and then put in a bit of left torque pedal. And you'll see us, our radio compass is sort of coming round to meet our heading. I'm going to roll out and release the pedal. Okay, and that's us, we're pretty much flying bang on that radio heading. And that's us reached 3,000 feet, so I'm going to drop the collective a bit. Cruising along nicely at 100 knots. Now, what I'll probably do is cut this bit out because nobody wants to see me flying along the coast at 100 knots. And so I'll see you all very soon. Okay, and so here we are with Batumi in sight. At this stage I'm going to go ahead and contact the air traffic control and just check in with them.
Batumi, infield 1-1, inbound. Infield 1-1, Batumi, flying heading 172, north side, USD 29, runway 13.
Okay, so I'm now beginning my inbound. I'm just going to reduce my collective a little bit so that I begin a 500 feet per minute descent. See that every little movement you make on one control has an effect on the others. You're constantly balancing. If I move my cyclic, then I have to move the collective and vice versa. And I have to make torque pedal inputs as well. So it's all very complicated flying a helicopter. I'm going to turn on my landing light now. There we go. Now, what I'm going to do is basically fly down the runway and then taxi off to the left and land at hard standing. I'm going to do a hover taxi again. Increase my descent rate a little bit now to 1000. I'm starting to reduce the amount of trim and I'm going to make my turn down runway heading. Reducing my forward speed a little bit as well. got to be careful with my descent rates. I'm almost overspeeding the rotor. Okay, I've kind of brought it in alongside the runway here, but anyway. Let's get it back over, and we're just going to exit the runway at the first taxi when we come across. Check landing gear. Okay, I'm going to slow down a little bit and exit left. Okay, I'm just going to set her down on the hard standing off to our left here. Okay, that's the collective all the way down. Okay, so at this stage I'm going to turn off any unnecessary equipment. And turn off standby generator and the inverter, pitot heater, and navigation lights. Leave the anti-collision on because the rotors are still turning. And then we're going to reduce the throttle right down to idle. And we're going to get the low RPM warning. Silence that. And then we're going to click the idle cut-off button. And then we can reduce the throttle to cut off. Wait a little while for the rotors to slow down a bit. Okay, gas producer is pretty much stopped. I can now turn off fuel flow and governor and turn off the IFF, hydraulic controls, force trim, and open the door. No rotor brake on this particular model. I think it was only the Marine Hueys that actually had a rotor brake. So we're left just waiting around for it to stop. think we're safe to turn off the anti-collision now. And off with the generator, and off with the battery. And that's us done. Oh well. Thanks for watching. Bye.